Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again, and today I'm gonna help you uncultured swine experience art. More specifically, a play of the ages, one that even I, Shake Post, has never experienced before. One that I've referenced in one of my other videos. Chris did have a third video that dropped, but from what I understand, it's just a Rosechu play, and I have no interest in that. I don't think any of you should. I heard that it's actually quite boring. And quite boring it was. But sadly, it wasn't just one part. He had split it into 5. And that is what we're watching today, ladies and gentlemen. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Now, up first, the cast. Now, this is going by pretty quickly, but let me assure you that the cast is 100% Sonachus and Rosechus, because 85% of the people who volunteered were Rosechus and Sonachus. Now, everything you just read, from the cast to that little explanation, Chris is going to repeat right here. This goes on for 5 whole minutes. Just him repeating the casting and direction, all of that. After this, we get to find out that reviewers gave this play a 4 out of 5. However, I think it's kind of alarming because no dark type Pokemon were allowed inside. Now, we can't be sure if dark type Pokemon are evil in Quickville or if this is just leftovers from Barb and Bob's teachings. Chris goes from racism to explaining who attended this event, and after explaining who managed to get past the door, Chris then lists off all the stage casts, the people behind the scenes, including himself, who was helping the psychic type Pokemon with their riggings. And finally, at 8 minutes and 30 seconds, this fucking play finally starts. I need to express to you, this video is 15 minutes long. He has used over half that time to explain this useless nonsense. For those of you excited to see some Chris Chan original drawings, I hate to break it to you, this isn't an actual visual play. No, this is a novelization of the play. There's more words than pictures in this, which is odd because Chris usually prefers things with pictures. So throughout this whole play, Chris says, oh, and so enters stage right, and so exits stage left. On and on and on. It's super ridiculous. Oh, before I forget, one thing I failed to mention is how this play came to be. You see, Chris brought Angelica back in time to see the actual life of Jesus, and she had decided that the New Testament needed some updating. So, here we are. So what we end up getting is the beginning of the nativity, where Gabriel, played by Angelica, comes down to greet Mary and tell her about her baby, Jesus, and also finds out that her sister is having a baby, John the Baptist. Alright, so far so good. Matches the original. So, where's the catch? Okay, so now we go from Mary to the king, who's sending his wise men to go see the King of Kings. These wise men are made up with Inuyasha Sonichu and a fucking pony. Now, dear viewer, do not fret, for I have just told you who's playing these roles. It does not help, however, that for whatever reason, these 3 wise men turn into the 3 stooges, having a bit where they're talking about what they're bringing, and the pony says, well, I'm bringing gold. And that brings the other 2 to go, oh, why, are you trying to show us up or something? And which the pony gives the great line of, hey, well, this is actually my bonus. Riveting. I'm going to go ahead and play this part for you because I am a kind and generous mailman. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Alright, Inuyasha. Well, I brought frankincense for the family. What did you 2 get? perceptive response. I have some myrrh. Its scent is fervent. And the nicer says, I got a bag of gold. Gold? And the Ashes, what a way to outdo us, Night Star. If it's any consolation, this was my recent bonus.
Now, wasn't that just worth watching? My thoughts on this part, since it's coming to a close, is too much of Chris yapping, not enough story. But unfortunately, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Oh boy, I hope you guys are ready for some adventures with Jesus. We start part 2 with the nativity scene proper. And for whatever reason, Mareep and Tauros are here. Look, I know that there's Pokemon in Sonichu, but this was just kind of weird seeing them all together. I think that's supposed to be Tauros in the back left. Here's an original as sung by Chris Chan. Afterwards, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph get to steppin', because the king's here and he wants to kill Jesus. Upon realizing that Jesus isn't here, the king says, fuck it, I'm gonna just genocide all the kids here. And he does. The king in this part, I kid you not, sounds like he just finished a bottle of Crown before walking into Bethlehem. He sounds drunk as shit. This is, of course, not helped by Chris's voice acting. Chris mentions that Jesus is naive, which is funny because it's him. Jesus is then chilling on a rooftop when Mary Magdalene comes and starts asking him some questions, to which he just starts spilling out some gobbledygook that confuses me and confuses her.
Young Mary approaches Jesus. Hi! Jesus looks down towards Mary but doesn't make eye contact.
Hi. What are you doing up in the barrel? Oh, well, I don't know. I was looking up at the sky and counted numbers in the clouds. It's kinda interesting because when you add what you see within the lights around the clouds against the blue sky, it tells stories of the wonders beyond the sky and what number it guides you to next.
Mary is bewildered with what Jesus said as she looks up at the cloud.
Yeah, me and you both, sister. I have no fucking idea what Chris was talking about here. Mary then asks Jesus to play with her, to which Jesus agrees. They get off the stage, they come back on the stage, and then before Jesus can play, Joseph arrives and yanks Jesus away, saying, we're going back to Bethlehem. Jesus is upset. Mary's upset. Both of them are going, please, please, no, don't go, I'll miss you. To which Joseph just drags Jesus away like, please! I forgot to mention that Jesus tells Mary about the visions he's received from the old ones, where he flies through a rainbow and then predicts literally all the current events, from Russia to Israel, all that. It's a good thing they went back in time to check this, because otherwise, how would we know about all that? After they leave, Chris just kinda yada yada yadas the life of Christ until Jesus is tempted by the devil. Oh, I forgot to mention as well that Jesus gets baptized. But this is kind of part of the yada 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 segment, so I'm not really sure why he made art of it at all. But as you can see, he's getting his God powers. Alright, now back to the devil. The devil is played by Jamsta Sonichu and wears fucking sunglasses while he's talking to Jesus. From this, we get the normal temptations of Christ. However, it's afterwards that Jesus wakes up from a set of visions brought to him by Cthulhu, and he goes, so, I'm God? Makes sense. Honestly, I think this is just dialogue that Chris had internally that he put into the script. Jesus then pleads to the heavens, asking for another prophet to come and show him how to use his God powers. And then, hark, there's a knock upon the door. Jesus, upon hearing this rapping at his door, opens it and finds Lavesh Sonichu, which I guess is the god of Sonichus? He is the first Sonichu to be in this script. Now, mind you, he's played by Magi-chan, but he's the first real Sonichu in the script as a Sonichu. And naturally, he's a psychic type and is on high god level. He was promoted to this by his village chief, which, if I'm being honest, that's the guy who should be talking to Jesus, not this scrub. Part 2 ends with Jesus saying it takes a god to understand a god. My thoughts on this part is we're finally seeing some crazy shit from Chris, but fear not, it only gets worse from here. We start out part 3 with what sounds like Chris recording outside in a windstorm.
He was born in 324 BC and was promoted by the village's elder after connecting with the distant ultimate emerald, as well as the heavens and the cores and matrices of the universe's timeline.
Now, as it turns out, I actually jumped the gun on part 2. We find out about the village chief now. I'm still not sure what qualifies this guy to determine who's a god or not. He must be like Dagoth Sonichu or something. We then find out that the Sonichu god has helped the Christian god in the past. Chris then makes sure that we understand the Christian god is both male and female. Then Chris retcons his own universe, saying that the Chaos Emeralds are not 7 anymore, but they're 8. And the one ultimate emerald broke into pieces and merged with Chris. To which Chris tries to make his own meme. This, of course, follows Jesus' first followers, the fishermen. This meme comes from when the fishboat captains yell down at their fishermen and Jesus and say, "Get back on this boat." Oh, you laugh, I laugh, we all laugh. Here's how this looks.
He shot out there, "Hey, get back here on this boat!" But his words fell on deaf ears. And breaking it, there's your meme right there. "Hey, get back here on this boat!"
In the words of the illustrious Club Doom, "Damn, dog, you got the whole squad laughing." Chris then goes on to inform us that Wild Sonichu does not sound like a country bumpkin, but instead sounds like Luke Skywalker, because of course he does. Jesus then teaches people to trust in God, and their fishes will be delivered to them. And as thanks to his followers, he makes sure to pull up a bunch of fish so that they may have a feast together. After this feast, we then get the resurrection of Lazarus, to which we then skip to the scene where Jesus is flipping over tables. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, my notes are very vague right here. It says, Jesus has brain problems. So I wonder what that is. Maybe we should cut into this clip just to see what it's talking about.
Oh wow, I am feeling tired. It's so very tough to be Lord and God on Earth. Every time someone asks me a brain bender of a question, the only solvents I have is connecting with the heavens and the universe core for a simple answer, direct enough that I couldn't put it by myself. When my brain goes numb.
Yep. Jesus then informs us that he isn't happy with the Judas situation, but the show must go on. Chris then remembers that he left a scene out of the whole fishing thing. So let me paint you this scene real quick. Punchy, upon seeing Jesus walking on water, falls out of the boat, and Jesus saves him. Wow, what a guy. My thoughts on part 3 are quite simple. Things are getting worse, but in my opinion, part 4 is when the insanity just gets cranked up to 11. It's the magnum opus. Let's go. Part 4, the madness. We open part 4 with Jesus getting his feet washed, and then we just yada 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 the Last Supper. Judas then kisses Jesus for, and I quote, a few seconds. Must have learned from the Earl Doob Academy. Afterwards, Judas runs from the building, and Jesus gives chase, only to be arrested immediately afterwards. We then get the trial of Christ, in which Pilate asks Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" To which Jesus replies, "You said it, not me." As you can see here, you can see the frowny face I put in my notes. We then get some internal dialogue from Jesus where he admits he knows he's going to get resurrected, and to just roll with it. During the trial, it sounds like the courtroom's just chock full of Muppets. Pilate washes his hands of the situation, and then he sparkles as if he's done nothing wrong and is just perfectly clean. We then get the infamous scene of Jesus Christ Chan being crucified. To exemplify this important moment in history, Chris Chan changes his background from snowy to holy. Wow, what a respectful way to show this sacrifice. So anyways, Jesus wakes up in hell, to which he sees all the sinners crying from their cages. Jesus, upon seeing the devil, gives him a sky uppercut. I am not kidding. Jesus then yanks Satan's chain and then frees all the sinners. He then washes over all the demons in hell with a blue thunder shock representing holy fire. Jesus, upon returning to the earth, slams open the door to his tomb like Shrek coming out of the outhouse. Jesus, upon returning, does what Jesus normally does. He talks to Mary, he goes and meets his apostles, but then we get a retcon for the second coming of Christ. Honestly, I should have saw this coming when I started this video, but in case you don't understand what I'm getting at, let me clue you in. You see, Chris states that instead of Chris being the first reincarnation of Christ, he has actually popped up throughout history in different lives. These lives range from a variety of people, including some fan favorites. For instance, he was reincarnated as both Aang and Korra. The image you see on screen are all the incarnations of Chris. A real who's who of incarnations. Here's a thought. If someone at some point was good and famous, he was Chris all along. Chris then gives us the details about his Goddess Blueheart cosplay, including the bra size, which is a D cup in case you were wondering. And with that, part 4 comes to an end. Thank you all for watching. Part 4 was kind of crazy, but you know, it's been kind of great. It's not like there's another part.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Alright, part 5, I guess. Well, to start out, my notes begin with
Somehow
Christine Jesus Christ Rosechu.
returned.
Chris walks on stage in his Goddess Blueheart cosplay, and for the first time, he really fucks up his lines. Like, really bad.
Hi. Chris puts out his hands, the audience goes silent, and Chris starts to speak. And I personally directly speak through him from now to this moment from when I wrote this particular page of the Goddess Line back on November 22nd, 2022. From when I wrote this, I wrote into that moment in the play back in December 2005.
Just really tripping over his words there. Now, I'm gonna be real with you guys. This entire video, the original Chris video, has been going at 3, maybe 4 times speed, just so then I could fit it all in this video. However, I'm gonna have to slow it down even more because I have like 3 whole pages just for part 5. Actually, almost 4 pages. So, no use just waiting around. Let's get to it. Chris talks to the audience a little bit more about how he has returned from his jail sentence of raping his mom and is here to guide us as Jesus again. And that by 2022, all evil, toxic haters and sinners will be purged, despite the fact Russia, which is still led by Putin, is still in Ukraine. I guess he must have forgave Putin. Also, going into some deep Christian faith lore, I guess the separation between the universes happened in 1389. In case you didn't know, Merlin the wizard separated our universe from the Rosechu universe. Chris then informs all of us that he believes he's immortal now, which just tells me he needs an even longer jail sentence. Chris then thanks all of his weens and ends his monologue with Krakow! and then we're treated to an honest to God and then everyone clapped moment. And then, using the characters in the audience, he uses them to jerk himself off. They're going on about how great this play is and how good the acting was and how hot Christine is. Just the whole 9 yards. And then Blake is over here having a wet daydream about bubbles. Now, you might be thinking to yourself right now, Based, you're exaggerating. There's no way he just sits there and strokes himself off for a couple minutes. Well, word for word, the play was such a hit it sold out on DVD, and George Bush and his wife bought it and enjoyed it. But honestly, wouldn't you want this on DVD too? Chris not being satisfied with the audience, DVD owners, and George Bush and his wife stroking him off, he also has the actors stroke him off. Every single one of the actors start talking about how they gained some kind of enlightenment from this. Jamsta says that he method acted so hard that the devil's darkness infiltrated him, and it was only when Jesus had sky uppercutted him did the possession finally wear off. Sonichu, who played Jesus, by the way, as if anyone else was going to, talks about how he felt Chris possess him. Shoes on the other foot now, you yellow demon. And apparently all that nonsense that Jesus was telling Mary was ad-libbed because he was being possessed. And during this possession, he looks at Magi-chan and he really looked like Lavesh Sonichu for some reason. And throughout the play, Sonichu had visions from a far less important god than Cthulhu. What do you mean by that, Based? I hear you thinking. Well, these visions that he gets are a year late. They only give him visions of 2022. Well, actually, I have some egg on my face, because I don't remember them saying this at the beginning of the play, but I guess this was set 17 years ago? Just so then we're on the same page, that's 2006. That means this play happened the same year Patty, Chris's dog, had died, and Megan called a German World War II soldier hot. Also, this was the same year Chris finally gave up on Santa due to the fact that he had a lack of Christmas pussy. To wrap this up, because Nightstar the pony won't shut the fuck up, Chris does a joke at the end. That's such a grass type take on taking the heat? I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea where this came from. I rewatched this like 4 times, and it doesn't make any sense. He goes from talking about chaos to thanking Inuyasha the firebender for taking the heat, and then the closing joke? I don't know. I feel like this falls in the same vein as You Don't Have to Tell Me Twice, but in the Stone Age. Alright, we've come to the end. So what are my thoughts on part 5, and what are my thoughts on the whole play? Well, part 5, I can't even really consider part of the play. Like, all it is Chris talking about how cool he is, and how Nightstar's his best friend, and he's Jesus now, and all this other weird shit, right? It's just him rambling. Now, what do I think of the whole play, the whole thing, right? Well, as a play itself, a 1 out of 5. But this is the type of thing I wanted to see when Chris came back. I wanted to know where his headspace was, what he believed in, and we got that in this. We got the whole explanation, his whole thought process on him being Jesus. It couldn't be any better than this. And that's it for the Angelica Rosechu Christmas play. I hope you guys really enjoyed that as much as I did. I'm gonna need counseling for watching each of these parts multiple times. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if there's anything I can improve in the comments. If you're new to the channel, thank you for watching. As for my 931 subscribers as of recording, Thank you so much. I am just shocked with how much we've grown this last month. For those of you who didn't catch the birthday stream, we've started our adventures as the Goblin Millman of Fallout New Vegas, and we'll be continuing that adventure this Saturday, Veterans Day, for a couple hours. For those of you who've seen the birthday stream and wonder where it went, I'm currently editing it. It'll be right back up soon enough, I think. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Tier 3 of the Internet Dumpster Iceberg is the next video I'm working on, so be ready for that one, and see ya!